Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace and I've got some more Tribes Ascent content here for you. This time I'll be covering mainly the brute related things compared to other features that have been added with the new patch called Staying Alive. And Staying Alive is the reference, I believe, to the survival pack because it allows you to survive and stay alive, so I guess that's the thing. On top of that, it also has come with some features like Watch Now, which is basically a very integrated, very easy way to add or go to live streams that are currently being streamed, of course, otherwise they would not be live. So very obvious fact for myself right on that. So let's get going. If you're looking for gameplay, there should be a time code in the description box below that will lead you directly to the start of the gameplay, and otherwise stay tuned. Because these weapons do add, they are very interesting to say the least. They do add a significant new thing to the brute itself. Especially the Gladiator, because the Gladiator is something completely different from the Spin Fuser. It's a sticky grenade that explodes multiple times in a shockwave-like fashion. As it says, also releases multiple shockwaves. And they do quite a bit of damage. You really want to watch out for these. So in AoE situations, and I will show that in the gameplay, they are very potent. It is very hard to hit anyone else though. If somebody is properly moving, it's very hard to hit them with. Especially when they fly up. Because the explosion doesn't reach that far right now. And the best part though is that if you directly hit somebody, it directly triggers the shockwave. It doesn't stick as far as I saw in my the gameplay that I covered. But it does immediately start the shockwave and it does significant amount of damage. And every low health class will immediately die if you actually can get a direct hit off. So you have to watch out for that. Of course, the secondary weapon is the plasma gun, and I can safely say that this entire bundle for the brute is not overpowered, not broken. It has a very potent side to it, but brutes are already very powerful classes, very heavy, very tough like classes that you don't really want to mess with all too long. And plasma gun really promotes that behavior as well, which most likely will be your primary weapon in fact if you are going to use the plasma gun instead of the Spin Fuser. And it does a little bit more damage than the Raider Spin Fuser because it is the big brother, but the hitbox is fine, perhaps a little bit too big, but just very little. But that might have been latency issues on my side or on the enemy side. And it's a decent rate of fire. It doesn't do as much damage as a Spin Fuser, but it's still very powerful. So you really want to watch out for this weapon once again. You want to watch out for any plasma gun or cannon or whatever. As long as there's plasma in its name, you want to watch out for it. In this, especially in this game, I found. And of course the last item that comes in this bundle for the brute, which is the survival pack, and pretty nice. You get a nice chunk of health, which makes you even tougher. You actually get more run speed, which is very nice because as a heavy class you will find yourself having a lot less energy usually compared to the lighter classes for obvious reasons. And of course some energy as well if you have fully upgraded it. So it's a very nice pack, and I prefer it probably over the energy pack or even over the heavy shield pack myself. So let me know what you guys think, and let's just dive directly into the gameplay. And the matches that you are currently going to watch, if you in fact are going to watch them, are basically the first few rounds that I warmed up with these weapons and got to know them pretty well. And this is also why I sometimes use the Gladiator instead of using the plasma cannon, just to see how potent and how easy or how difficult it may or may not be. Actually, I don't really play a lot of brutes. My classes are more the Raider, the Soldier and the Doombringer. So the most exercise that I get with a heavy class is getting blown away from my position when I am a heavy on flag, or just defend the generator with my chain gun. And as you can see, the plasma cannon does quite a nice amount of damage. It's also called hot air, like I was saying, and it is very potent. So I am going to expect a lot of people complaining about how powerful it is, but I am not entirely sure if it's actually overpowered this time. I just think it's very potent, because heavy classes are supposed to be very powerful and they are supposed to be very dangerous at close range, and The plasma gun does give them a little bit more range, which is something I can understand that can be a problem. So if it actually ends up being too overpowered, they can always switch the range of the plasma gun back. But otherwise I don't really see the issue besides getting the hell out if you see a brute with a plasma cannon. It is after all a bloody cannon, so you don't want to get hit by it after all. And the Gladiator is especially designed for close quarter combats. Think generator room, think possibly even just defenses to break them out if you are for some reason going to attack as a brute. And or just basically what I like to do with it in a capture the flag situation is just put it somewhere where I possibly think where an infiltrator may be, and then just try to spy check if you like. And this is the map where I especially started to test the Gladiator, and this is where you will definitely see a little bit more of it as well. And the plasma cannon, which in fact is the big brother of the plasma gun, there's not a lot to say about it. It's basically the plasma gun, just a little bit more powerful in the sense that every direct hit does a little bit more damage. Basically the AoE splash damage is the same, the damage is also a little bit more if you actually do hit somebody with it. But besides that, not a lot to say about it. It's all about the Gladiator and the survival pack, I suppose. But the survival pack is very passive. I do have some nice health, I do run a little bit faster. And then again, it pretty much stops at that point as well. It all revolves around the Gladiator this patch, I think. Because it's a whole new explosion type, it's a shockwave explosion. And as you can see, it's a very nice range, it's especially in close quarters, but it's definitely going to be very hard to hit people directly with it, or even just hit them in open fields, because the moment they start flying up, it is incredibly... The only way to hit him with this weapon is of course with a direct hit, which is pretty damn difficult right now. I might be getting better at it later, but right now I find it to be extremely difficult. But then again, if you are going to fight somebody in open fields and they are going to fly up a lot, you are most likely going to use either the spin fuser if you use that, or of course the plasma gun, and so it's practically irrelevant. But it definitely makes the brute a very viable generator defender, which it already basically was, but even more so right now. Or even more annoying, what a lot of people seem to be doing these days, is getting the heavies in the enemy generator room, and a weapon like the Gladiator is really going to mess that up as well, even worse than they already could have, because it's such a powerful weapon in close quarters. It's so... The damage is insane. It's basically more than 1,000 damage on the initial hit if you directly hit somebody with it. And then it still pulses another 2 to 3 times. And so it will practically destroy everybody in its way, assuming you can actually hit with it. And like I said, it's very hard to hit people with it. But I am really enjoying the plasma cannon, because I did really enjoy, and I still actually really enjoy the plasma cannon on the Raider. May people agree or disagree with the fact that it's still strangely powerful or just very potent in killing people. I really enjoy the very straight, very easy projectiles. I'm not really sure why I dislike the spin fusers, or why the spin fusers don't really work for me in my hands, while the plasma weapons, the plasma gun and the plasma cannon, in this case, do really work for me, assuming I am warmed up and I get the feeling of it. I don't know really why it is, because they basically are the same projectile. One just travels a little bit slower, so I suppose that is probably it. But there's no actual gravity involved, let's say with a thumper, or of course with the crossbows and such. So it's very interesting, and I'm trying to hit people. As you can see, I do have some difficulties actually hitting people with it, because the rate of fire is slightly off, which sounds weird. I suppose it feels like it's a little bit slower, and I'm not really used to running around as a heavy and to be very active as a heavy class. Normally I would be preferably a raider or a soldier even, or even if I feel lucky, a pathfinder. So being very active as a heavy right now throws me a little bit off, as you may understand. As well as the weapon is a little bit different than the plasma gun, which also throws me off, because I am used to the plasma gun itself. So a weapon that really looks like it and doesn't really act like it does give you a disadvantage, and does require some practice. Anyway, we are about to end this video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. Make sure to hit the annotations at the end of this video if you want to check out more content as well. And I will catch you guys next time.